Morning everybody, hope I'm coming across loud and clear. You think it's raining? But I'm committed to do this and I'm committed to go outside. That's the thing. I get so focused on things, I don't bother about anything round about me. And it's a blessing sometimes, and it's a lesson sometimes. Because you're just like, no, it's got to be this way. It has to be this way, and it's this way regardless. Sometimes you have to break that cycle and say, look, you know, step back, have a think about it. Is it really absolutely necessary to do it that way? Day 7 of my property journey. So far, what have I learned? Well, day 7, next property bought. There's no surprise here when I say the next property I bought has developed an income for me, but this one I didn't sell. I've still got it after 20 years. But why have I got it? That's what you've got to think. Why have you got it? Well, you know, sometimes you've got income that you need from day to day, and that's maybe why people refurbish and then sell on. But other ones, it's like, well, slow burners. I always talk about that, slow burner and creating a wee bit of income for you. It's no wealth. It's just a wee bit of income. And if you get enough of these wee bits of income, then it creates a good wealth for you. Aye, it's raining, Alison. Aye, but it's liquid sunshine. That's how I look at it, liquid sunshine. And somewhere up in these clouds somewhere, there's the sun. If you go up high enough in a plane, which will not be anytime soon, judging by the way things are going. Yeah, so slow burners. I would say I bought this property 20 years ago, and it's worth 3 times as much as it is today as it was then, what I bought it for. Listen, if you buy property and hold on to it and clearly rent it, at some point in time, if you hold it long enough, it will be worth a lot more money. And that's fine. I never have bought property for capital wealth. I bought it for income, because I knew the capital would come as a result of that anyway, regardless. So that was almost my strategy, to develop an income, a reasonable income every single month, just so I could never worry that if anything happened to my job, if anything happened to my circumstances, I mean, it's my ability to perform anyway. I was always taught that by the people far more successful than me. And I mean, and this was 25 years ago, it's like, you know, your ability to perform is based on you. If anything happens to you or you hurt yourself, for example, a surgeon, if you're a surgeon and you rely on your hands to do surgery, if anything happens to your hands, that's you goosed. You're out of business. You will no longer be able to perform and no longer be able to make money. Likewise, if you're a self-employed contractor and you're a joiner, and therefore you rely on getting to work, and even a van, if you rely on your van to get to work, if your van goes down, you've had it, you're not going to work. That's the key about probably getting the right tools to do the right job. That's another lesson, probably. Anyway, I'll go back to this. I'll maybe stay under these trees a bit, because I need to refer to my notes so I don't go off track. Okay, so yeah, the house is worth triple, and why did I hold on to it? Because I got a lifetime tracker. A lifetime mortgage tracker, 1.15% over base for life. That is when the Northern Rock was doing crazy deals, and some of the banks were doing crazy deals. And as far as I'm concerned, they're doing crazy deals now. It's like, how can you do a Royal Bank of Scotland, I think it is doing a 5-year fixed rate deal just for a buyer. 5-year fixed rate deal at 1.21%, no money down, you know, in terms of arrangement fees, and they're giving you £250 cash back. That's crazy money. That is crazy. But they obviously maybe learned their lessons for the last time. That's fine with them. They know their business more than I do. Yeah, and then what I did as well, because the property was worth so much over the 20 years, I just remortgaged it and I took the money back out. So I took all the money back out that I put in it in the first place. So I've got no money in the actual property anymore that I originally put in. And that is called infinite returns. So infinite returns is you're making money out of property, but you've actually not got any money left back in that property, and you still own the property. That's leverage. That's really what develops wealth over a long time, a long term. The property business, I'll stress again, is not a short-term gain. This is a medium to long-term strategy to develop income, to develop money, to develop wealth for you as an addition to what you do on a day-to-day basis. That's really what that's for. And one of the things you have to worry about, or no worry about, you don't need to worry. You don't need to worry anymore because I've got all the answers, because I've made all the mistakes. One of the things you would have to worry, have to be concerned about is negative equity. I know of, he's an acquaintance, he's not a friend. I know what happened to him in the property crash, what he had done, Andy. He had, I think, 300 properties. I mean, that's a crazy amount of properties. He had 300 properties, but what he did is every year is he mortgaged the properties in order to get an income every single year, maybe 2% of the value. Every single year he mortgaged to have an income for himself to survive on. And for me, that's not a strategy. That was a recipe for disaster. Because what happened was when the crash came along, all his property was worth significantly less than what the mortgages were. The banks went, wait a minute, we're now exposed. 300 properties. Wow, we're in trouble. And they actually took everything back off him. Because, and again as well, as his strategy was to actually to survive on the remortgage. And if the remortgage isn't there anymore because you've got negative equity, then that's a crazy strategy to have. So it's one of the lessons I've learned by somebody far more successful than me in this business, is, you know, be careful. There is, as I said before, I'm pretty risk adverse now. I've learned a lot of lessons that I teach other people and say, no, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be doing this for this reason, because I've done it already. You know, what's the point of reinventing the wheel if somebody's done it already, I suppose. So that's the negative equity trap. So be careful, don't remortgage all the time. You have to think about where it is first. Yeah, so that's probably what I've learned. Infinite returns, negative equity. Oh, now, this isn't a funny story, but I'll tell you anyway. One of the things that happened to me with this property, I moved two brothers in. I'm a sucker for a hard luck story. And I moved two brothers in. They were fantastic guys. I mean, so they were really nice, all the rest of it. But what I didn't realise is they maybe weren't the right side of the law, unfortunately. That's where referencing becomes important. But this was way in the early days, before all these things were in place and anybody knew about buy-to-let. So I've learnt my lesson. And subsequently, they moved back out because obviously they weren't the best tenants. So they've moved back out. And then what happened for there is I went in and I looked at the top corner of the living room and I thought, ooh, there's a wee damp patch coming through. I popped upstairs into the attic to have a look to see where the damp patch was coming through, and I thought, there's something different about the attic. Just something doesn't look right. And then I was looking about and I thought, there's water coming from a pipe. That pipe's been cut. They had nicked my tank. They had stolen my hot water tank and sold it to the scrap merchants for money. Oh dear. And they'd cut the pipes and just switched the water off. Anyway, that property was actually, and it still is, new kitchen, new bathroom, new heating obviously, redecoration, carpeted over. So all the money, most of the money I develop, again, as I say, 30% of your income, your top line income for rentals should actually go back into as overheads, into running it, as well as the finance. So finance costs first, then 30% overheads of the top line income to make it. So that's why it's not all money in the bank when you get, I've got £350 rent every single month. Well, no, you've no, because you've still got to pay everything off of that. You've got your finance costs, you've got your repairs, you've got your maintenance, you've got your property manager, if you've got somebody managing it, because you can't afford the time. It's no, I can't afford the time, that's one of the reasons, but you obviously get somebody to manage a property if you don't have the skill. I mean, there's over 50 pieces of legislation governing our industry, and it is a crazy proposition to think, I'll tell you what, I'll just get one property and I'll learn how to do it myself. That is not a good investment of your time. Just get somebody far more superior than you, it knows what they're doing, it has a track record to run and manage the property. I think that's the most important thing. I'm going to wrap up there, but I'm going to tell you a wee story which I thought was brilliant for today. Because we all know what day it is today. I've got a video actually appearing at 8 o'clock. So I'll have a wee read of this, because this is brilliant. I have to refer to this. I'm going to lean against this and stay under here, because we'll get soaked. So there was a man that had a wee boy. He loved him very much, and every day that man came home and played with his wee boy. I mean, I used to do that. I remember when I was wee, still remember this, I used to sit and wait at the door for my dad to come home every single night. And he'd spend all his extra time playing with his wee boy, or his wee girl. That night he had so much work to do that he thought, geez, I'm never going to be able to do this, and I'm never going to play with my wee boy. I'll have to give him something to do to keep him occupied. So he had an idea. He saw a magazine, and there was a large map of the world on the magazine cover. So he removed the map, and then he patiently cut it up into small pieces, and he put it in his coat pocket. So when he got home, he said to the wee boy, come and run and tell him he was ready to play. And he explained to him, look, I've got extra work to do. I can't just start and play now. So I'll tell you what we'll do. You go to the dining room table. You take this wee jigsaw I've made. This was the map cut up into pieces. And explained, when you put it back together, because he knew he was going to take ages to put this thing back together and finish it, we could play together. So as soon as you put that back together, we could play together. And he thought, I'm going to have a good 3-4 hours here, because he's going to take ages to put this back together, because I've cut it up into small pieces. So he left the wee boy at the table, or wee girl at the table, and then sure enough, half an hour later he came back and says, Dad, I've finished, can we play now? And he went, you're joking? And he was really surprised, and he says, that's impossible, let's go and have a look. And sure enough, there was the picture of the world, all put together, every piece in its place. And the man said, that's amazing, how on earth did you do that? And the wee boy said to him, it was simple. On the back of the page there was a picture of the man. When I put the man together, the whole world fell into place. Happy Father's Day.